Hola, buenos dias.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Okay, I'm here with Mithy, Lemondogs player, support player. When we do this interview, you've just won against Gambit Gaming to make it into the final. Now, before we talk about those games, like the obvious thing I should really ask you is, what do you think of the fact that now you're going to definitely be at the World Championship?
What can I think? It's like, it's amazing. When I came into LCS, my expectations was to like make it in playoffs to next season, like season 4, you know, and now I'm going to Los Angeles. It's like, I can't ask for anything else.
You were saying there you just wanted to make it into the playoffs, the fact into LCS rather. The fact that you actually didn't start the season in LCS, do you think you have like even more of an appreciation for the fact somehow you're going to be going to the World Championship? Like when you joined Lemondogs, realistically, did you know this was possible?
No. I actually, as I said, I joined Lemondogs just to like make it for season 4. You know, like get like I don't know, sixth was my aim. You know, like get 6th and then. Yeah, like try and do a good job in playoffs and don't fall into relegation. That was what I thought would happen, and now I'm going to LA. So yeah.
So to set up talking about the games, I actually thought something we should talk about first is that anytime I watch the games where Lemondogs is playing and I hear the casters, they always make reference to stuff like, oh, Mithy's done his research in this game, like, oh, he's really thought about the picks and bans, and like research. They make it sound like you're like the brains of the operation and like you're coming up with all the plans. Is this true?
No, I mean, when it comes to like the way you're mentioning it, like strategizing and stuff, it's not like that. Strategizing is something the whole team does. And yeah, I'm no brain of the team or anything. I do a lot of shot calling, but I'm not the only one that does a lot of shot calling. Nuketag, for example, did the same or even more shot calling the games against Gambit. You know, it's just the only. I think what changed between me and Failure was the synergy on bot lane completely changed, and the fact that I make some more calls, and maybe, yeah, well, not maybe, like. The fact that I like motivate the team to play all the time, you know, and I like tell them like, what the fuck, don't go out now. We are gonna play tomorrow and stuff like that. Or I'll tell them, go out, it's fine, but make sure to be at 1 there, or I'll like really get mad, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm like a coach, one could say, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not like a strategizer or a brainer of the team or anything like that.
Can you give us an example, maybe from these games against Gambit, is a type of situation in which like that's a call that you make, or you're the one who has the idea there?
Basically, it's something everyone knows already, you know, but I pretty much started doing it, but not to give a lot of info, but like if I want to ward out somewhere, because warding creates pressure in the map. It's not even like you create pressure, like if you deward and they don't have that, like for example, if you put like 2 pink wards in 2 places, you know, then you have vision over that place and they don't have vision over that place, so that creates pressure. So what I like, if you can see the games, I do a lot of like I do a lot of warding, which means that that helps us snowball. So that's why it looks like we know how to finish games pretty much. And stuff like that is like stuff I call like, please help me out warding here, you know, getting deep wards off and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
So before you saw the quarterfinal yesterday, who did your gut really tell you was going to win your quarterfinal? Did you really think it was going to be Gambit?
You mean
the match before this to decide who you'd play today?
Oh,
who do you think was going to win it?
Well, we're good friends with NIP, but and they actually trained like next to each other. We trained next to them, I mean, like this week. But we already knew that Gambit Bootcamp is something scary, and they looked like a more solid team than NIP, and we already knew that Gambit was most likely going to make it.
Because the interesting thing I want to ask as a follow-on from that question is, knowing that you'd only have 1 day after you knew who you were facing, did you really practice up to this week like an equal amount for both teams, like we don't know who, or did you practice a bit more for Gambit, or what was it like, the research itself?
I think we only practiced for Gambit, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, we played NIP before, and they basically play our champions pretty much. Like from what we feel, they see we're rank 1, and they're like, okay, they must be picking something right, you know. So like most of the champions they picked are like champions we pick ourselves and stuff. And I think right now we're just like a more solid team than them when it comes to like picks and bans and like play itself, you know, like strategy wise, like map movement, and we're just more synergized than them. So we were confident enough to play against them, and we weren't confident to play against Gambit.
When it came to actually this game against Gambit, okay, evaluate for me how you actually think the picks and bans went. Which teams like got advantages in areas? Who got like what they want? Did you get what you wanted in the picks and bans?
I think Gambit had no idea what we played, even though it seemed like they did. But I don't think they did. They didn't like give us sack both games, and that's as soon as we got sacked, the game was already over. Like, because the champion is not very balanced, let's say. And yeah, when it comes to picks and bans, okay, like heavily talking about it. The first game they got completely outpicked. They had nothing to do. Like, we knew, like, as soon as the picks and bans were over, we were like, okay, this game is over, because they had the Nasus against Zara, Caitlyn, TF. That means that Nasus will never ever be able to like go in and like attack someone, because TF and Caitlyn will peel for each other and will like just stand card, and like I will root them, and Nasus will be useless. And then on top of that, we had Zac to initiate, and I think we had Jarvan too, right? I'm not sure actually. I can't even remember. But yeah, basically, like, we had a good comp to initiate, disengage, re-initiate. We had everything we wanted. We had global pressure the first comp. It was like, yeah, there was pretty much nothing they could do when in terms of like, if we had an equal game, I'm pretty sure we would have won, even if like we got ahead early. If it was like completely equal, I'm pretty sure we would have won team fights anyway.
So in game 2, where we said game 1 fairly convincing. In game 2, were they actually a threat at any point in time? Was things going to plan throughout the game?
Well, game 2, we never do this. We usually like pick AD early, but Gambit has been only playing like MF, Varus, and those champions are like basically. Those champions like are very hard to play with, to play against when you're playing a hyper carry, which is something we've tried to do this past few days, is playing hyper carries. And so what we did the first game was pick Caitlyn straight away, you know, because we saw their picks though, and this game we didn't see their picks, and we were like, okay, so we already know their mid pick, so we're just gonna save the last pick for AD. And if they don't pick a lane bully like MF or Varus, we'll go hyper carry. If they go like MF or Varus, we'll go Caitlyn. And on top of that, the Orianna pick was like something we kind of expected, but we didn't really care about, because we don't feel Orianna is any good. Because like, if you know, like for example, the first Drake fight, it turned out really bad. We got triple ulted and everything went really, really bad. But that was because we weren't ready for it. But when you're ready for a team fight and you know Orianna is there, you can like first of all, you can like just bait her QW, and on top of that, you can like flash her ult. It's like so easy to flash the ult. So even if the champion has like 100 farm over the other mid, it can be useless in a team fight with a bad ultimate. So it's a champion we don't rely on. And yeah, Kog'Maw was scary, but we had Zed. And Renekton was like the most useless champion in the game, because Vayne could 1v1 him at any point. And we had Zyra and Vayne, so it's like, even in a team fight, Vayne will never die to Renekton, which is like a champion like just rushes the AD carry, you know, like Vayne was like the best pick against that. And then the jungler was, I can't even remember. But yeah, I think we had a good comp, not as good as the first game, but yeah, we were confident we could win the second game pretty.
When I spoke to Nuke Duck in their Super Week, he told me something interesting about your team. That in general, you guys would pick the champions you play based more on just the enemy. Like trying to pick ones that were like better against them, or you thought like they wouldn't be able to handle, as opposed to like picking ones that are just very strong for you, etc. Is this an accurate description of your philosophy? Is this what you're doing in this game?
Yeah, of course. Like for example, we've been like on Super Week and stuff. We played like Sona Twitch, you know, and we as I said before, we expected Gambit to qualify, and Gambit had been playing Sona MF, Thresh Varus, Sona Varus. Those champions are like really, really hard to deal with if you're playing Twitch on Sona, you know. And then we also noticed that whenever they pick Thresh and stuff, then they really like to camp bot lane. So if you pick Sona against that, you're gonna have troubles. You know, you have to play really safe. So we completely adapted our picks and went back to like the old school, like Caitlyn and, you know, like champions that are safe. And then this last game they picked the hyper carry, so it didn't go like we planned it to go, but we were ready for anything. Yeah.
I know that the teams practice against the other brackets teams, like makes sense because you're not going to play until the final. So that means essentially you were practicing against Fnatic, and you'll now face Fnatic in the final. Can you give us a hint as to how was practice going? Like, what do you think about facing Fnatic in the final? I mean, you've just played them recently in practice.
Well, practice doesn't mean much at all, especially against a team like Fnatic. They usually use practice to try new strategies out. So I don't think practice means much. And when it comes to playing against Fnatic, we are confident we can win. But at the same time, like we have to be careful with everything. You know, they're a very versatile team, and yeah, we just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know.
I saw a lot of people, commentators especially, making really strange comments, okay, because they would say, oh, the final almost doesn't even matter as much as the third place game, because, you know, the third place game still gets to go to the World Championship. But I think they're forgetting, like, the final is for a lot of money. The difference between first and second is a lot of money to most gamers. How important is it to your team to, like, win the final and get, like, this huge sum of money as well, after being, like, a not such a known team even before this season?
To be fair, it just depends on who you are. I think for me it was more important. This game was more important. I like being in Worlds. For me, it's an honor. Playing against like the best players in the world, that's an honor for me, and I'd give that over like getting, I don't know how much is it, 50,000 or whatever it is. So I think it's the same for the third place team. So I would say the same thing. I would say that the third place match is more important than the finals.
Okay, so the third place game is obviously like a classic matchup, EG against Gambit. Who do you think will be joining you in LA?
I think it depends on Gambit's morale, because I know EG is like has a good morale, and I just think it's like who's more smart about the game. I think both teams. The thing is, Gambit picked like the first game they picked like for mid game, and we knew how to deal with it. We knew that MF is like very good early game, so we gave away to Drakes. We were like, well, I'm not gonna fight against an MF with level 11 MF with BT, you know, like that's just gonna destroy the whole team alone. So we just gave away Drakes and we didn't fight. It just depends on the decisions EG takes depending on the picks, you know. It's I don't know, to be honest, but I think it's 50-50 actually. I think EG have improved a lot, so yeah, I can't really tell.
So it wasn't that long ago, like I said, you weren't in LCS at all. Maybe you watched like pro games on stream, etc. Now you're going to go to the World Championship. We're not sure which teams are there, but in theory, the best teams from each country are okay. So is there like a bot lane or a support player from another country you'd love to play against? Is there someone like, oh, I really want to face that guy?
I would have loved to play against Madlife. Really. I don't know if he would go or not, but that, like, he's the one I've been idolizing since I started playing, and yeah, I would love to meet him.
Any final words or someone you want to thank?
Thank you to our sponsor, Steel Series, and to all our fans for supporting us. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Gracias.